You gonna come out, TC? Or are you gonna stay down there? Up to you. Your choice. I have a game set up for you out here. And now you have a choice of 2 ways to come out, if you want. Hi everybody, and welcome to this 10th edition of Super Dwarf Sundays with Tau Ceti. For those of you who are excited to see him come out of his enclosure and actively engage in this feeding puzzle that I have set up, you're going to be disappointed because he sits here like this for a very, very long time and does not engage with the puzzle. I have Morelia bredli that love these puzzles, whether there is food in them or not. And then I have several corn snakes that absolutely go crazy for these puzzles, search for the food, find it, and eat it, as well as a bull snake that really loves engaging in this activity. However, TC wasn't having it, and after over an hour went by of him sitting there in ambush position, like you saw, I decided to go ahead and feed him the regular way, which was just a frozen thawed rodent off of feeding tongs. Well, he struck it, wrapped it, coiled it, held on to it for quite a while, and then dropped it and started milling around the area again. So I retrieved it for him and I set it on top of one of the puzzles, but he wasn't really interested in eating food that wasn't moving. So I ended up picking it up and offering it to him again off of feeding tongs, which he took. I moved it around a lot more, trying to instigate him to get a better grip on it with his mouth and coil it and wrap it tighter, which he did. But then after a few minutes, he decided that he was going to let go, and he sat there with the rodent for quite a while and then rested his head on it, which was so cute, but not really conducive to eating. Finally, after quite a while went by, he did start eating the rodent, and he got himself part of his body all wound up in this twisted position. And he ate hanging off the table with the middle of his body twisted up in a knot, which I found very interesting. If nothing else, Tau Ceti is very amusing to watch. And as a student of behavior, I literally could and do sit here and watch him sometimes for hours. He eventually gets his meal down. And again, I study behavior in many animals, and for the last couple of years I've been studying behavior in snakes, and so I was very, very interested to see what he was going to do next. Was he going to go back in his enclosure to rest and digest after eating? Was he now going to come out and actively engage with the puzzles? Was he going to rest on this ledge? Was he going to climb underneath that enclosure? I have a carpet python that absolutely loves to climb under that enclosure and stretch out in a rectilinear position and sleep for hours. So I just patiently watched TC to see what he was going to do. You guys don't have to be as patient because I've not only sped up all of the TC footage 2 times its normal speed, but I've also cut literally hours of it out. But I enjoyed sitting here with him and watching him. He doesn't end up doing any of those things that I previously mentioned. He gets his body out of that contorted twist and he moves around a little bit on this ledge. He does look at the puzzle feeders again, and I believe that's because I started to clean that setup up. Oh yeah, he rubbed his face on some things, which is pretty normal after they eat. I thought he might go underneath the enclosure here, but he didn't. He didn't go in it, he didn't go under it, he didn't come down to the puzzles. He just sort of hung out on this ledge. So I started cleaning up the puzzles, and I started to make sure they were all empty, that I hadn't left food in anything, and that I was collecting them all at one end of the table. And that actually seemed to interest him. He was doing some active tongue flicking, and he was watching what I was doing. And then he got himself in an ambush position over the pile of puzzles that I made, and he sat there a really long time. Pythons are excellent at sit and wait, and they can wait and wait and wait. So eventually, I put him back in his enclosure, and he was still sort of interested in what was going on outside of the enclosure, but he didn't ever come back out, and he eventually found a nice resting spot on one of his ledges where he could quietly rest and digest. And I will give him a few days to do that, and then we will work on some more activities this week, and see you next time.